You there, second desk, blue jacket. What is your name?
My name is Alexis.
Alexis, please leave my lecture room. I don't want to see you, one of my lectures, ever again.
I don't understand.
I am not going to ask a second time. Thank you. Why are there laws? What are laws for? Anyone? Social order?
To protect a person's personal rights. So that you can rely on the government?
Justice? Thank you. Tell me, was I unfair to your classmate just now? Indeed I was. So, why didn't any of you protest? Why didn't any of you try and stop me? Why didn't you want to prevent this injustice? You see, what you have just learned, you wouldn't have understood in 1,000 hours of lectures unless you lived it. You didn't say anything because you weren't affected yourself. And this attitude speaks against you and against life. If you think it doesn't concern you, so it's none of your business, well, I'm here to say, if you don't help bring about justice, then one day you too may experience injustice, and there will be nobody there to stand before you. You there, second desk, blue jacket. What is your name?
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. YAHAWAH being the true name of the Heavenly Father, BAHASHAM meaning in the name of YAHAWASHI, which is the true name of his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And RAWCHAA, meaning in the Holy Spirit. I also want to give double honors unto the apostle, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessing and salutation unto the elect of YAHAWAH, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And blessing and salutation to the hopefully elect, the brothers out there, the Akim, enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, preaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi in truth and sincerity in these last days, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nation, but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And this is like a part 2 to a lesson that I did yesterday, which this, if you watch that lesson, this is the video that I was speaking about. Now, as you see within here, as he said, you know, if y'all understand if y'all got a good idea pretty much of what laws are for, you know, and, you know, one of them hitting what the professor was looking for, meaning justice. That's what laws are for, justice. All right, so when we go once again into this word justice, into the etymology, it says the exercise of authority and vindication of right by assigning reward or punishment. Also, quality of being fair and just, moral soundness and conformity to truth. And as I said in the lesson yesterday, Esau doesn't have that, okay? He doesn't have the ability to conform to truth because, once again, he's estranged from the womb and he go about speaking lies. Okay. Also, you got within here Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith." Okay. So that faith is what? The substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. By nature, the Edomites, Esau, who is ruling this earth now, and the so-called white man, they don't believe in a higher power. Now, you don't get me wrong. You have some people, I'm not saying, you know, you have some people who look like Edomites, but are Jakes. All right, they're true. They're Israelites by the Spirit, and then you also have some people who have been duped within Christianity, or I would say religion, period, to believe on a higher power. All right, and you also have call law Yabashim Shai. There's 144. This is like I've seen all of the 144 starting with this morning. I've seen 10:44 a.m., 11:44 a.m., 1:44 p.m. I've seen 4:41 p.m. and I also seen earlier 11:44 p.m. and now 1:44 a.m. Call law Yabashim Shai. But you have have those who look like Edomites but are Israelites by the Spirit. All right, you got the ones who have been duped by religion. All right, and pretty much, you know, they think that they're good people in the sense of hiding. That's the third one, hiding behind religion. Oh, I'm a Christian, I wouldn't do that type of people. Or they brought Christianity over to our people. All right, when they came over to the Americas, okay? They went about spreading that. Like I said, being duped. But nonetheless, that's not in their 100% nature. If that was the case, then justice would be served. Now you have some of them who say, yeah, I hate that the Negroes had to go through what they went through and all of this and that, you know, but they're not doing nothing about it. As he said, why ain't any of y'all protesting? Oh, there are some out there. Well, there's plenty of things that could be done to um, do right by Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But nonetheless, and we talking about as a whole, as a nation, you have some people who was celebrating, in a sense, the so-called immigrants that was being deported. You know, they was happy about it, looking forward to it, taking signs by the alligator Alcatraz. I mean, taking pictures by the alligator Alcatraz sign. All right, they're showing, they're showing their true colors. Okay, this is Psalms 14:1. It says, "The fool had said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good." And how have they said that and stated that? By their technology, by trying to be like the Most High, by growing their own fruit and creating their own creatures in the sense of their robots and trying to have their own spirit in a sense, their AI. All right. Um, allowing everything that's in the scriptures, allowing to have a contrary society to the scriptures. All right. Like I said, he is upright. There's what he says, Salaki Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Right? Let's get this word upright real quick. Goes into Yashar. It says to be right, be straight, be level, be upright, be just, be lawful, full of the law, be smooth. All right, to be pleasing, be agreeable. Yeah, there is none of that. Esau is going to twist and turn and pervert whatever thing he can in order to go about, in order to justify his means, in order to justify what he wants to get done and get out. He's not straightforward. All right. He don't make things right. Esteem right, approve, make level, make straight. He doesn't, he likes to have things crooked. Okay. Perverse. All right. So that's going into his nature, man. Okay. As in which that's why I'm saying, that's why I ended up going into that word, because that word is part of it. You got righteousness, equity. Okay. Least he be shown righteousness, yet least the wicked shall be shown favor, yet shall he not learn righteousness. All right, I'm gonna try to find that. Sometimes it be spelling favor in a different way. Yep. This is Isaiah 26:10. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. Why? Because when you go back to Psalms 14:1, the fool had said in his heart, there is no God. All right. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth well. And this is the society that we live in. All right, might as well get this. It's a few of them. You know, you got Job 9:24. Okay, it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Beautiful. If not, where and who is he? And who are the true judges? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, the Israelites. Because we are the ones who are going to judge uprightly. Let's see what a judge is according to them. It says examine, appraise, make it diagnose. That's what we're doing. You know, that's what we do. According to what though? All right, to form an opinion about, inflict penalty upon, punish, try someone, and pronounce sentence. According to what? The law, statutes, and the commandments. Okay. Make a decision, decide, think, suppose. Right. And it goes back to just. The just shall what? Live by faith, which being just is morally upright, righteous in the eyes of the Most High, according to what? The law, statutes, commandments. That's why we ought to keep it to our best ability. Now, in these times, we're not perfect. You know, we have the right to judge on the things that we're not doing. And that's what I wanted to get. As he said, nobody protested in that classroom for her. Just like no one's protesting about what's going on in the world. Now people are starting to protest because now people are starting to feel it. Okay. But they didn't have a problem with what was going on in the world when they was benefiting off of cheaper housing, cheaper groceries, when the cost of living wasn't going up, when it wasn't feeling it, and it wasn't affecting their livelihood. Nobody had anything to say except the men of the Lord. And here they is, looking forward to the next Olympics, the next Super Bowl, looking forward to the next iPhone to come out. All right, I was sitting here, I was about to buy me an all-in-one desktop, and they just want too much for it to me. You know, I mean, I'll probably still end up getting it anyway, because I want to be able to, you know, do more lessons like this, be more visual as I'm doing my lessons. And you know, I got a laptop for right now. It's pretty old, but it works. So I might, you know, I might roll with this. We'll see what the Lord allows, man. All right. So when it goes into judge, as you see, it goes back to being just, righteous, upright, equitable. The Israelites, you know, the men of the Lord. I'm gonna just say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Israel of the Most High. There we go. There we go. Let me see if I can find that. This is Galatians 6:16. It says, "And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them, and mercy, and upon the Israel of the Most High." That's not the one I was looking for exactly, but you know, it's just showing. I think it's in Romans. Let me check Romans real quick. Let me check. Let me check. If I can't find it, I'll just move on. You know, but dang, I wish I could really find it. But nonetheless, you know, the men of the Lord, the hopefully elect, the ones who are out there, hey, the ones who are out there protesting injustice, man. All right. It said, lift up thy voice as a trumpet. We got to show our people their transgressions. We got to get them right. We got to, what did it say in Jeremiah 28:8? Has prophesied against many countries, many kingdoms, you know. This is Jeremiah 28:8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilences. All right. That's what we're coming in the spirit of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, you know. Letting people know what's coming to this place. All right. Letting people know the injustice that's done. Letting people know that justice will be served by way of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, man. All right, so I want to grab this in Psalms. You know, this was speaking about unrighteous rulers, man. Okay, it says Psalms 82:1. It says the Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judges among the gods. Now, don't get thinking about Zeus sitting in Olympus, whatever it's called, among the gods. You know, judging them, judging who you had, Poseidon and damn, why can't I remember her name? Whatever them Greek gods were. All right, you know, but this is us. You know, this is because when you look into that word, all right, you got Elohim, the same with the ones that created the heavens and the earth by way of the Most High. Okay, but it also goes into rulers, judges, divine one, angels, gods. Okay, so somebody that's sitting in a power, a seat of power, or that's being held in high regard. Someone that's leading the people in a sense. Okay, now this is mainly talking about our people. You know, our judges, but it also applies to Esau. It's because it's judges in particular, judges in general. Okay, but it says, how long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Because you have people that would be bribed, and Esau have that. Man, this whole system is just backwards, and it's about money. You know, whoever got the most money get into office on the outside looking in. You know. But all in all, we know that the elite of society, whoever they want in office, is going to be in office. Okay? It says, Salakia, defend the poor and the fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy. That's it. That's what a judge is supposed to do. Not afflict the needy, not give them injustice, and not offend the poor and fatherless, but do the opposite of what's been done in these days, man. Says, deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. Yeah, but the wicked will come to you like he's not the wicked to hold you within his hand. It says, they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundation of the earth are out of course. Why? Because wickedness have polluted the earth. All right. It says, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. You know, definitely speaking to our people nonetheless. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. You know, why? Because we can't keep the law perfect at the end of the day. Sin, we haven't conquered that. Sin still, how do I want to put this? I mean, sin can still, you know, win the battle in a sense, all right, due to the flesh. But once we get new bodies, okay, and also we'll be able to judge properly. One of the brothers, well, I believe it was one of the uh, elders, all right, if that makes sense, you know, had said, you know, we had to end up in this position so we can understand both sides so we can judge it right. Because when we get into our kingdom and the Lord give us the earth back and give it into our hands, hey, well, let's get it, you know. Is it 32? It's 29 and 2, maybe. Let's see. Gone. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Nobody's rejoicing at this moment. Everybody's complaining. All right. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's all you see. You see a bunch of videos of women crying on the internet, how they ain't got this, they can't afford that, they lost this, they gonna lose this, they choose it between the meal and rent, and choose between health insurance and keeping a home, and so on and so forth. Well, this is what happened when the wicked is bearing rulership. All right. You're gonna mourn because he's gonna deal unjustly, because the soul that's in him is not upright. Okay. Let's finish this off. It says, "Arise, O power, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations." And that's what's going to happen. The Heavenly Father is going to judge this world through YAHAWASHI and the angels, and he's going to set up the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, according to the Bible. All right. The elect of them and the rest of the world will learn our ways. Easy. Easy peasy. Okay. So I wanted to end it off on this. You know, the point is in 24, but it's a beautiful read as well. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, chapter 6, verse 17. It says, "For the very true beginning of her," speaking of wisdom, "is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love. And love is keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption." Right? Meaning you ain't polluted, nothing's corrupt. You're up, you're upright, you're straight, you're just. Okay? You're not perverse. It says that incorruption maketh us near unto the Most High. Therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom, right? If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom that ye may reign forevermore. And that's what it is. They go about establishing their own righteousness, right? They're not seeking the righteousness of the Most High, okay? As for wisdom, what she is and how she came up, I will tell you, and I will not hide mysteries from you, but will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity, and bring the knowledge of her into light, and will not pass over the truth. Now, what a beautiful thing is, I'm not going to get into it, but as it's speaking of wisdom, and that's how you pretty much get and establish and maintain a kingdom or a rulership. You know, as it says, searching out her nativity. When you read in Sirach, the 24th chapter, it'll tell you all about wisdom. She went about through all these different nations and people, and she ain't find a no home nowhere except for in Israel, man. Okay. It says, "But will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity, and bring the knowledge of her into light, and will not pass over the truth. Neither will I go with consuming envy, for such a man shall have no fellowship with wisdom." Yeah, you got to learn the application of what we learn. Apply what you learn. Apply the knowledge that you have. Okay, you can't just have this knowledge and you know, have consuming envy, be looking forward to be jealous of the wicked, man. You know, as the scriptures say, don't be jealous of the wicked. Okay, understand that this place is gonna crumble. It's crumbling. You know, understand. I ain't gonna say it's gonna crumble. You know, it's gonna fall, but it's crumbling at this point in time. You know, they left one loose brick at the bottom on the foundation, and it's just slowly sliding and sliding. And as soon as it's gonna slide out, and the whole building gonna shift. And once that shift, it's just gonna fall down, man. Verse 24, which is the point, it says, "But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world." See that welfare, just to get in the definition on it. The health, happiness, and fortunes of a person or group. All right, sure reminds me of Proverbs 29:2, where it speaks about when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice there because they're there for the happiness, the welfare, and the righteousness to flourish throughout the earth. And a wise king is the upholding of the people, and Esau is not wise. That's why he's forcing himself to stay within rulership, and that's the same reason why he's going to lose his dominion. It says, "Receive therefore instruction through my words, and it shall do you good." But Esau what? Throws the Bible behind him and go about establishing his own righteousness. Therefore, there's no way for him to turn from his wicked ways. There's no way for him to escape judgment. And call all YAHAWASHI for that. All right. So, through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world. We're the ones protesting, not necessarily, well, I mean, we're protesting the injustice that Esau does throughout the whole planet Earth, man. All right. Ultimately, we're just exposing him through the spirit, man. All right. And, protesting what's been done unto us. They want to pretty much erase all of the history and all the things that they've done. All right, but it's plain. You either have time to erase the history, or you're racing against the clock to make history. That's how it is, man. Okay, but you racing against history is gonna do what? Just speed up the process of you being judged, man. So race on, man. Race on. Don't take no naps. Keep it going, through the spirit. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure unto the end. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.